In this video, I'm gonna show you how to install the randomizer mod for Gran Turismo 4. This mod randomizes the car prices you get from completing the license, events, missions, and overall progression of the game. There's also some extra patches that improves the gameplay of the game, which I'll show here as well, along with the full PCSX2 setup. Let's get started. We'll begin by downloading the best PS2 emulator, PCSX2. The link will be down below on the fixed comment of this video. And here on the main page, you want to click here on latest nightly and then download the emulator for the operational system you're using. In my case, I have Windows, so this is where I'm gonna click here. The emulator will come as a zipped file, so you're gonna need either WinRAR or 7-zip to extract it. I would personally recommend 7-zip over WinRAR actually, and I created a folder called PS2 on the desktop of my computer, and now here on the file, I'm just gonna double click on it. It's gonna open with 7-zip, and now I'm just gonna extract all the contents here to the same folder where the original file was. You can go ahead and delete the original file. We're not gonna need this anymore. And here, before we start the actual installation, click here on View and make sure that file name extensions is enabled right here. This is required for what we are about to do right now. So before we start the actual installation of the emulator, you're gonna right click here on the folder, and then you're gonna select New, and then click on Text Document. This file will be generated, and you're gonna rename this file here to portable, and on the .txt, you're gonna erase the txt and replace it with ini. Exactly like this. It has to be written exactly like this. And when you click away, it's going to ask if you really want to change this one, and then click on yes. And if you see this little gear here next to the program, it means you did it right. Now you're gonna click here on this PCSX2 executable, so just double click on it. And if you did it right, all these folders will show up right here, just like it was before, but this is something that they changed it on the latest version of this emulator. There's a few options here if you want to change the language and the theme of the emulator. I'm just gonna leave everything on default here, so go ahead and click on next. Here we're gonna have to select the folder to where the BIOS files are gonna be. I can't show here on the video where to go or even mention where you could find it because that's against YouTube's policy. But it shouldn't be too hard to find if you know what I mean. And when you have them with you, you're gonna place them on the BIOS folder here on the emulator folder, just like this. Now go back to the installation program here and then click on refresh list. And like that, the BIOS should appear here. I got the Japanese version, but it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. This is not gonna affect the installation or anything like that. So now click here on next. And on this tab, we're gonna have to select the folder to where you want the emulator to scan for the games. And in my case, I like creating a folder here on the emulator folder. Click on new and then folder. I just create a new one here called games, just to keep everything on the same place. Right now, go here back on the emulator and then click here on add, and it should open the emulator folder by default. So now you just have to select that games folder that we just created and click on select. It's going to ask if you want the emulator to scan this every time. Click on yes, and there you go. The folder directory should appear right here. Now click on next. And on this screen, we can configure our controller, and this emulator has a automatic mapping function. So if you already have your controller plugged in, you're gonna click here on automatic mapping, and it's going to list all the devices you are using. In my case, I have a Xbox controller, so I'm gonna click here on SDL0 X input controller, but you can use your keyboard as well if that's the case. You can configure this later inside the emulator, by the way. If you have a second controller, you just have to do the exact same thing here on controller port 2. Now, click here on next, and with that, we have finished the installation of the emulator, and it should appear right here. This will be a good time to subscribe to the channel and also leave a like on this video. And there you go, we finished setting up the emulator, and as you can see, I already have the game here with me. And in order for the randomizer mod to work, you're gonna need the online public beta version of Gran Turismo 4, the American version to be precise. And just like the BIOS, I won't show you here on the video where to get this beta, even though this was a free public beta back then. You never know how YouTube will judge the situation, so it's better to not risk it. But it shouldn't be hard to find it online. I'm sure you can figure it out. And when you have it with you, go ahead and place the game on that games folder we created before, right here. Now I'm going to show you how to apply the patch into the game. So for applying the patch into the game, we're gonna need the XDelta UI utility software right here. And I'm going to put the link of this on the description, of course. So just go ahead here, click on download file now, and just download it and extract it to the folder of your preference. Preferably in the same folder where you're going to download the mod as well, just to make the process easier. Now let's download the mod itself, and for that we're gonna head over to the Twitter profile of the person who made this mod, and I'm going to put the link of both his Twitter profile and the link of where you can download the mod in case you don't have Twitter and for some reason you can't see his posts right here. But if you do have Twitter, go ahead and give this guy some props, you know, for making this mod. Right here it should be the pinned comment of his Twitter. Go ahead and click here and download the mod from the Mediafire link. Now that we have everything, let's start patching the game right here. I'm gonna start by extracting the XDelta UI. I have a program called 7-Zip for extracting files, but you can use WinRAR as well. It's up to you. So right here, just gonna right click on this one, click extract here. There you go. And delete the file, by the way, and the mod itself too. I'm gonna extract here. There you go. For patching the game, you're gonna double click right here on the XDelta UI.exe. Going to open this little interface right here. This one is pretty straightforward. You're gonna start by selecting where the patch is, or where the mod is in that case, which is this file right here that we extracted, GT4 randomized.xdelta. I'm gonna click here on open, and you're going to navigate through the folder where the files are. Right here, I just created a folder called patch on the desktop of my computer. So right here, I'm just gonna select the file, click on open. Second, we have to select the source file, that is the game itself. The game, as you remember, is right here on the games folder on the emulator folder. So I'm gonna do the same thing here, but for the game. The emulator folder, double click on the games folder, then select the game like this and open. And now for the output file, this one, you're gonna give a name to the patched version of the game right here. It's gonna be up to you. So you just have to click here on this box, and it can't even be on the same folder where the original game is. In my case, I'm just gonna call it GT4 randomized like this. And remember to type the following: .iso like this, so the emulator can recognize the game after it's done patching like this. So go ahead and click on save, and now you just gotta click here on patch and wait until it is finished. It's going to look like the program is about to crash, but don't worry, it works like that. You just have to wait like 30 seconds or so, and then it will be ready. There you go, it finished patching the game. So go ahead here and click OK. And as a bonus, the person who made the randomized mod also included a few upgrades that we can give to the game. That is the deinterlace patch and the enhanced control triggers for your controller. This one is my favorite right here. As you know, the old Gran Turismo games, they have the acceleration and the brakes set to the X and the square button on the controller, but you can reassign in-game to work them with the triggers. And this patch right here makes them even more sensitive to your inputs. No reason for not using these improvements. They don't break the game or anything like that. So to get them into the game, go ahead and copy them right here, all three of them, like this. Now back on the emulator folder, you want to double click here on this cheats folder and just paste the content right here, like this. We're gonna have to enable them, but that's inside the... Now let's configure the emulator for the best configurations for performance and graphics on Gran Turismo 4. So go ahead and open the emulator again. Right here on the game, click on it with the right button and click here on properties like this. Start by heading here to this cheats tab and go ahead and enable. Then like this, it's gonna say that you have 8 or something cheats available for usage, right? Now click here on graphics. On the render, if you have Vulkan enabled right here, go ahead and click on this one. But if you don't, you can leave them as automatic as such. Now here on aspect ratio, go ahead and set this to widescreen 16:9. This game has native widescreen port. Here on the bottom, enable the anti-blur and enable the no interlacing patches. Now go here to rendering, and on internal resolution, the higher you can select here, the better the game will look, but this is going to depend on how powerful your computer is. I'm going to set mine to 6x native for 4K, even though I have a 1080p monitor. But like I said, the higher the resolution, the better the game will look. Here on anisotropic filtering, change this to 16x. This will have minimal impact on performance. And there you go. That's pretty much it. That's the only settings you have to change here for performance and quality of Gran Turismo 4. Now go ahead and double click on the game like this, and it should open up for you. Here on the main menu, scroll down to the options tab. Now go to the screen option right here and change the aspect ratio to 16:9. And here on the bottom on the controllers, if you're using a controller, that is right, I'm using an Xbox controller, click here on DualShock 2 button configuration, and we're gonna swap the gas and the brake to work on the triggers of the controller. This is optional, right? If you want to play this game like a proper racing game and all, on the gas, you're gonna change this to R2, and the brake, change this to L2. Going to inflict with the upshift and downshift, so you can just replace that. X on the upshift, square on the down. And there you go. It's pretty much ready. Now go up here, select the Gran Turismo mode, and there you go. You're now going to be playing the Gran Turismo 4 with the randomized progression. And remember that the progression will be tied to the username you created before when you booted the game for the first time. It didn't show up for me because I did that before the tutorial, right? But that's pretty much how this mod works. If you want to reset the progress, go ahead and create a new username. I have many videos like this on the channel, so if you like what you saw, don't forget to check out my other stuff, subscribe to the channel, and also leave a like on this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.